Just want to let you councillors know that we switched the meetings. We're going to do property first, followed by finance. So, first, I'd like to call the property service meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're on the Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Is there any emergency resolutions? Any emergency resolutions? Any emergency resolutions? See none? We'll move on. Next is the approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Boyles, seconded by Councillor Turner. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I don't know whether to add it to the property services or financial services, but I had mentioned that I would request a report from Valley View Villa on its operations during the strike, and I have a memo here from them that I'd like to read. So
That'd be finance.
put it in finance. Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
I have a lighter agenda, so. Next, is there any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes of April 20th? Any errors, omissions, corrections? Any errors? Oh, Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Under alternative sites for proposed natural gas peaker plants, it says here about the provincial government to consider alternative sites for proposed peaker plants. It wasn't just alternative sites. It was alternative sites and modes of action. And that's only the first one. Under key points of resolution, it says request third-party analysis of alternatives. That's right. But then in the last one it says an independent review from IESO and Nova Scotia Department of Energy. It wasn't that they were to do a review. It was that the request for third-party analysis was to be done independent of IESO and Nova Scotia Department of Energy. So I think it should read differently. It should read request third-party analysis of the alternatives independent of IESO and the Nova Scotia Department of Energy.
Okay.
And the final one, it says down at the bottom, moved by Councillor Parker and seconded by Councillor Parker. I don't think you can do that. So I don't know who moved it or seconded, but
You moved it.
You moved in.
I moved it.
So
Okay, I couldn't remember that far back. But anyway, that's the changes that I think need to be made to that part of the minutes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Councillor Dorr. Oh, okay. We're going to go back one. I forgot to the approval of the agenda. So all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Okay, we'll move on to correspondence. First one's from the province regarding the Fire Protection Services Act. The next is from Coastal Planning Support Program for Nova Scotia, NSFM. And the third one is from the Northumberland Regional High School Advisory Council requesting sidewalk on Highway 4 from crosswalk to Alma Loop. Is there any questions on any of those correspondence? Councillor MacKeil.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. My question through you to Evan would be regarding the Emergency Management Office of the Minister from Kim Masland. I guess the changes that are coming in, what does that look like for our municipality?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I don't think that that's real clear at this point what it means for our municipality. I did have a meeting with the province, I believe it was last week, if I remember correctly, with the warden, mayors and wardens I was able to sit in on. They were gracious enough to let me join, where I asked them a number of those questions so that we could understand better how we were going to fit into that mold as a municipality. At this point, I think there was a lot of items that probably weren't considered in terms of how municipalities were going to fit in. We are going to have to undertake a fire protection service review. That's in stone. We're going to have to do that. That review is going to be educated through the fire service risk assessments that departments are going to perform. So essentially, that information is going to be collected from these departments, fed back into us, ultimately to give us the information that we need for our review. They don't know exactly what the municipal responsibility is going to be for us to either make changes or investments, or what our responsibility will be as it relates to those at this point. I was, I think, a little surprised with how little information we received in that information session. I was surprised through my questioning. They did commit to reaching out to me, which they've done, and we're going to set up a meeting in the next, I think, week, where they're going to hopefully address some of these questions that everybody's wondering. So I'm sorry I don't have much more to report on tonight, but it was fairly broad in their statements. It wasn't well defined at this point.
Yeah, that's what I found. It was very broad. There's no real points of, you know, a layout, a roadmap of how this is going to be implemented and what actual control we have over implementing these with fire departments. That's my question, is how are we, do we ask, or is it a request, or is it a mandate to these departments?
So the risk assessments that they speak about here are going to be mandatory and they're legislated. So departments aren't going to have the option to not do them. I'm not sure what the repercussions are if departments choose just not to do it. I did ask that question and they didn't know. I do know that they plan to start those within, I think, about 6 months' time. I believe they start to roll that out into fire departments so that they can start their local risk assessments. And it would probably look like our review will start in the next fiscal based on that information that we receive. But again, I think there's still a lot to change here yet. I wouldn't want to speak in sureties because we've done that once before, and it ended up being a little difficult for us. So at this point, I think we need to wait a little bit longer. Let me have those meetings with the province. Hopefully they address some of the questions that I had, and I'll be happy to take them back to council when I have them.
Thank you very much, Evan. Appreciate it.
Okay. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to comment on that one to do with the fire department, because I was in on that meeting here. I think she made it pretty clear, I forget the lady's name that was doing the talking, but she made it pretty clear that their ultimate aim is still where we started. And then they backed off for political pressure, they backed off from that. But I didn't have much doubt in listening to her that they plan on having all fire departments under municipal control at some point. They backed off for political pressure, and now they're going to introduce it much more slowly and hopefully bring people on side so they didn't have an uprising. But, you know, I asked her about that, and she basically, it sounded like a carrot and stick job to me where, you know, they're going to start dangling things out there that those departments that join with the municipality will get those benefits, and those that don't won't. So that eventually, if they keep adding enough benefits on there, well, maybe fire departments decide, I guess I'll come under municipal control. But you know, Evan asked the question about, you know, what authority do we have as a municipality if people aren't meeting, you know, the training requirements and whatnot? You know, what authority do we have to make them do it? And another good question that Evan asked was, you know, do we have the right to not take them on? If 2 out of our 18 or 4 or whatever say, you know, we would just rather be under municipal control and let you folks do the buying and everything, do we have the authority to say no? Or do we have to take, even if there's 1 or 2, do we have to take them? And which I got a feeling is probably the case. But anyway, there was a lot of unsureties there for sure. But the one thing I was sure of coming out of it is they're aiming for the same thing, only on a slower basis. But I did want to ask the question on coastal erosion here, where we got a whole $24,000. I don't think that's going to do too much. But does that, like Emily's name's at the top here, is written to her, does that go back to the Climate Change Committee, or who's dealing with the $24,000 and what to do with all that money?
Thank you for the question, through you, Mr. Chair. That project will be handled by Emily, our environmental specialist, as you mentioned. It will go back to the Climate Change Advisory Committee. Emily's working on it now. We've had some, since finding out that we got the funding, we've had some chats about how it's going to look. Essentially, there's a short list of consultants that are pre-approved to do this work, and it's meant to be more or less community engagement to gauge the public's interest in coastal development policy and practices. So it will turn into, in all likelihood, we expect some kind of a public consultation session likely taking place right after the summer, like September, that kind of thing, in order to allow the report to be completed before the end of the calendar year per the stipulations of the agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Move on. With us tonight, we have Matt O'Toole. He's the principal of Northumberland Regional High School. He's here to give a presentation on proposed sidewalks for out in Alma. Matt, welcome.
Hi, thanks. Say to start off, this might be a little awkward. I'm both a pacer and a hand talker, so I have to sit and push this button, and I'm not really sure what to do with myself while I'm doing this. I'd like to start off just Okay. I'd like to start off just by saying thanks for having me here, and while I am here, this is the first time I've actually been to council. I'd like to thank council. So this is my 11th year at Northumberland Regional High School as principal, and over the years, the municipality has been very kind to us as a school, both in supporting our students through bursaries, through supporting graduation activities at the school, and more recently, supporting us with a grant to build our greenhouse. Which I can update you on a little bit. Our greenhouse is breaking ground May the 25th, so everything is done, approved, and we will have that started May the 25th and hopefully finished before summer. For those of you that might not know the project, it's a 42-foot geodesic dome. It has its own heat sink in it, little pond. It has a heat pump, and our goal is to really push the farm to table sort of mentality with our students. We're going to grow our own food and we're going to cook it. And the money that's come our way from the municipality has been a huge part in making that happen, so thank you. That being said, I'm here to ask for more. For those of you that don't know Northumberland Regional High School, we're on Alma Road, and we have a student population of just under 1,000. I was telling Mr. Parker on the way in that we've seen a pretty big increase in the last 2 years. We're up almost 200 kids over the last little bit, and even moving forward to next year, we'll have 2 more staff members because our population continues to grow. On any given day, between students and staff, we have about 1,000 to 1,100 people in our building. What brings me here today is our Code Black, which is an evacuation and relocation. So at Northumberland Regional High School, our muster point for a Code Black is the Alma Fire Hall. And in the hopefully never occurring event that we were to have a Code Black and we had to relocate everybody, then 1,100 people have to move down Alma Road, cross Highway 4, and make their way to the Alma Fire Hall on the other side so that they can safely be picked up by buses and things like that. We do a drill for Code Black every year. This year we did a very large drill. So this year we had about 500 students participate in a drill. It was the biggest one that we'd ever done, and it became very clear while we were doing this drill that the pass on Highway 4 from the crosswalk to the Alma Loop is not safe for 500 or 1,000 students to be moving along. I have a couple of pictures here so that you can see. So this is the group moving down the sidewalk at the school. Everything looks great, no problems. We turn the corner there, you can see kids are good. I mean, people always wonder how do you get 1,000 kids to stay on the sidewalk or whatever, but they're pretty good when we do stuff like this, and in the event of a real emergency, I'm sure they'd be even better. Alma Road is great. Kids are safe, off the road, moving down to Alma Road. And then we turn the corner here. So this is the kids moving along Highway 4. And our concern is that there's no sidewalk there for the kids to move along. This is in October, I think we did this drill, so there's no snow. And the situation would be even further complicated, I think, if there were snow, because what happened when we were moving along this part is the students started to drift onto the lawns and things like that. When you have snow removal in the middle of winter, you get those snow banks on the side of the road. There's no room for kids to walk along that part. And here they are again along the same stretch. You can see that they're kind of off. There's the side of the highway there, and then they're in the ditch. And again, in the wintertime, there's no ditch, there's snowbanks there, there's nowhere for the kids to move safely along that stretch. So our concern is this: if there were to be an urgent situation, that road would have to be kept clear for two reasons. Number one, so that the kids would be safe, and number two, so that emergency vehicles would be able to go up and down Highway 4 and get to the school if they had to. We don't feel that that is possible for us to do without some place there for the students to go during that transition. Our request is that the council consider providing an adequate space, i.e. a sidewalk, from, initially I thought maybe just from the crosswalk to the loop, but might need a sidewalk on the loop as well. I don't know. That would be something to discuss. I was thinking on the way over that if there were emergency vehicles coming from Alma Fire Hall, we would want the kids off that road as well while those vehicles were traveling along the loop. It wouldn't be a high traffic area during a situation like this, but there would certainly maybe emergency vehicles moving along that loop. I know I had 10 minutes, but it's
That's pretty
quick,
good.
so I can open it up to questions if anybody has any.
Okay. So anybody? Councillor Bowles.
Yeah, thank you for coming. You say a code black is what you're
Yes.
setting up for.
Yeah.
What would cause a code black?
So a code black could be a chemical spill, could be, say, a fire big enough that maybe there was a risk of explosion or something like that. So a code red is evacuation of the building. A code black means that the kids aren't going to be going back into the building. So if we had a fire big enough that there would be an explosion, or if we had a fire big enough that the kids were not able to return to the building, then they'd have to go somewhere else in order for buses to get them. So code black is any time that you would have to relocate everybody in the building at the same time.
Okay, and now does all the schools have like something like this, you know what I mean, in case
Yeah.
there is?
Yeah, every school in the province has the same criteria for code red, code black, and that sort of thing. So for us, and I did before I came here, we thought about the geography of the area, and if there was another reasonable place that we might have better access to, that we could use as our muster point, and there really isn't. There's two things. Number one, the Alma Fire Hall would provide adequate shelter for kids if they needed to be there for a little bit. It would be cramped in there, but we could get them in there. And number two, they have to have a space for buses to come. So that first muster point is where we take all the kids, and from there, buses would take kids to another location where parents could come and get them and things like that, because they wouldn't be able to get in while the emergency was going on. So we can't think of anywhere else in the area that would be appropriate.
Just another quick one.
Sure.
I seen the kids there, they were walking down, nights and everything, but if there's a possibility that school's gonna blow up or something, I imagine them kids gonna be running, they're not gonna be.
They might be, but it's surprising when people get into that, when especially when kids are afraid. They really do still look to us as grown-ups. They like to pretend that they don't a lot of the time. But in an emergency situation, in my experience, kids do tend to look to us and keep their calm and watch. That's my hope, at least. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for coming,
course.
Mr. O'Toole there. It's nice to see you here. This is obviously an issue that means a lot to you because you're concerned with the safety of the children at your school. Is it hard to keep them under control on a sidewalk, to keep them on the sidewalk? I guess I see them walking orderly there on the sidewalk that's there.
Yeah.
They listen pretty good and they'll
Yeah, we have a pretty good plan in place that has, adequate supervision. The first step is when the kids go outside the building, so as part of like a code red or something. When the kids exit the building, they're initially grouped by class. So a maximum of 30-to-1 supervision for those kids when they're walking down the sidewalks. From there, as we start down, the teacher takes their group of 30 and they just slowly become a big group of 1,000. So in that 1,000, there's lots of staff
Yeah.
there to keep things orderly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's important, that you can keep them
Yeah.
on the sidewalk. when
Yeah,
you-
I know they don't walk that way when they go down there at lunchtime on
Yeah,
their own,
yeah.
but when we're there and supervising and doing this sort of thing, in
Yeah,
general,
yeah.
they're pretty good, yeah.
Well, hopefully we can do something about it here, but I did speak to our CAO there, and he mentioned about putting it on the capital.
I just would hate, again, it became an issue to us when we did this. I'd never done one that big. And it just became a real issue.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
part of my job, same as part of all of your job, is to plan for the worst. And in a worst-case scenario, I think there's a real possibility that somebody could be hurt, so.
Yeah, that's our concern, that's our biggest
Yeah.
concern. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Matt, for coming tonight. We all want to keep our students safe, that's for sure. And you're the one that's there in charge every day, so you're a good one to tell us what you think is needed. The question I have is, a lot of students come in cars now, and I know I dropped my granddaughter out there, and I said earlier, I can't believe the number of cars. It's a busy place in the morning or in the afternoon. But when, let's say you have a code black, the temptation of some will be to get to my car and get the heck out of here. What rules do you have to try and control that? Because you could have a mass of, you're trying to get emergency vehicles in, the mass of cars leaving. Are the students told that they're to go with the rest of them and not get in their car? Or I'm just,
Absolutely. So that is definitely a rule. And again, we make the rules, and are people going to try and get out? I certainly hope not. But I think that's kind of addressed by the accountability of going out by class as well. So a teacher takes their class out, and then a teacher does their attendance when they get outside. So again, like there's the code red, which is just the evacuation, and normally that would be a fire or like a fire drill. So when that happens, teachers take their classes outside. There are designated areas for all of the different classes in the room. Each area has a lead person. All of the teachers do the roll call, check in with the lead person, let them know that everybody is accounted for. So when we get outside, that's an important piece of it, is that everybody stay together so that we have that accountability. And then they go and get in the line. So there are checks along the way to try and prevent kids from getting in their cars and trying to get out of there. We also need to be sure that everybody's out of the building and that kind of stuff. So all those things are in place, yeah.
okay, I just thought that'd be a temptation to jump in the car. I'll get out of here faster, And one other question, Mr. Chair. Bomb scares, where did they often happen at schools? They seem to happen more a time ago. There doesn't seem to be as many lately. We keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But
I don't even want to mention it.
Yeah, have one tomorrow. What's the what level's that? That's not a black. Is it a red or?
It would depend on. So when something like that happens, we work with the RCMP to assess the threat. So depending on what they thought the threat was, based on the information that they received, it could be a code black,
Okay.
or it could just be an evacuation, like a code red where the kids wait outside. So again, there's different levels of credibility. If there's no credibility to it, there might not be any action other than having some RCMP in and around the building. If they want to come in and have a look, then we'll often do a code red and kids will go outside and the RCMP will come in while the kids are there. To check whatever it is they need to check based on the situation. And then third, if they determine that it was a credible threat, then they would do an evacuation and relocation. We've never had to do that, fortunately, but it could be, yeah.
And another one we hear from schools now, again, bad incidents when they happen, is active shooter.
Yes.
Are those ones, it seems, you or want to keep people in their classrooms rather than have them evacuate. So is it,
Yeah.
what code level is that?
So that's code blue. Code blue is a lockdown. So there's two types of lockdown. There's a code green, which is actually just an external door lockdown. That might be, I have a coyote outside in the parking lot, or it could be an angry parent on the way. Code blue is the lockdown like you see in the movies, where the lights are off and kids are kind of in classrooms. Now, you know, any of those situations, again, you know, I hate to even say it, but God forbid we had a real situation, a real code blue. That could translate also to an evacuation, because at no point in our building are we going to be able to handle the traffic of concerned parents showing up to get their kids. I mean, you guys know we have that one driveway, so you fill that driveway with emergency vehicles, we would have to relocate in that situation. So we would follow, when it was safe and when the RCMP said it's now safe to do so, we would follow that evacuation plan to the Alma Fire Hall, and it would be there that we would get kids on buses and home to safety.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Councillor MacDonald.
Hi.
Hi.
Just wondering, for fire drills and that stuff, you take everybody out, and your code black, you only took half them out.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind that? Wouldn't you take all of them out for the code black exercise?
So there's kind of different levels of how we have to practice code blacks. And, you know, one of them is like a tabletop exercise. So we'll be meeting with like Evan, meeting with the RCMP and just discussing it. It's quite disruptive to take 1,000 kids out, so it's not something that we do kind of every year. At some point I would like to do a whole one, but the biggest that we've done so far is about 500.
Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
This is a very worthwhile ask. I'm in full support of what you're looking for. I'd like to see it expedited as well. Is there a timeline that you're looking for? Would you like it in place by September?
We
Is there a-
would, you know, if there was a decent place to walk, I think that might tie in nicely to this question. It would be really interesting to have a full school evacuation, and to try that out with 1,100 people. And if it was something that could be done for September, I think that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we have the means
Yeah.
or the wherewithal to do that by September, but
Yeah.
I'd like to see this project go ahead, and I'd like to see it expedited and done as quickly as possible. So you'll have my full
Thank you,
support.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Not seeing anybody else. Matt, I'd like to thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And again, thank you for all of your support.
This is something that we'll probably bring up during our budget deliberation. So.
Excellent. Yeah.
Okay.
And if there are any questions, feel free to reach out to me or the SAC, and we'll get back to you with whatever you need to know.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. For reports not requiring a motion, Director of Public Works and Development. Any questions? Warden Parker.
Number 25, Salem wastewater extension. This one has been going on now for 2 years, maybe more than 2 years. We've had the provincial money in the bank now for well over a year. The only good thing about that, we're collecting a little interest, I guess. And we did get a 1-year extension. It was supposed to run out March 31st of this year, and I believe now we're extended to March 31st of 27, waiting for the federal share of the money. And somewhere back about Christmas time, Brian and I met with Sean Fraser in his office, and they informed us that that money, which we'd been waiting on for a long time, they said it was there and it was coming, never did come. It was being transferred to the province. And it's still the federal money, but the province is now going to be the ones in charge of handing out that money. So we waited till see what, if that was going to happen or what was going to happen. And we haven't heard anything since, and neither the feds nor the province seem to know even if it's been transferred or not. let alone when it's going to be handed out. And unfortunately, what it's led to now is that the park in Salem, Sarah Recreation Park, is now having to look at putting in their own sewer system at a tremendous cost. And then we could turn around and suddenly this could be announced 3 months later or whatever. It just seems to be at a dead end, and I'm wondering, I do read in there, there's supplementary information, a new approval for the proposed Salem wastewater, so I'm not sure what that means, because the approval's been there for a long time. And then Mr. McDowell provided supplementary information to Eric to support this application. So there must have been something happen that I'm not aware of, but I'm asking the question because I know that they're getting quotes now to have a sewer system installed at the park. Now, the rest of Salem still requires this, but you could say it'd be an awful waste of money to see that happen and then, you know, to have it approved. So where actually is it? Do you know any more, Mr. McDowell, about that?
Thank you for the question, through you, Mr. Chair. The note there about the new approval being needed was related to our approval that's required for any sewer extension through Nova Scotia Environment and Climate Change. So that had expired because it had gone so long since our first application. However, last Friday, actually this Friday just passed, we did receive our new application, or sorry, our new approval rather, from Nova Scotia Environment and Climate Change. That would clear the way if we had the funding to do the project from a regulatory perspective, but I don't have the additional updates on anything funding related.
I guess I would like to ask, and I think I have asked our CEO, maybe he's already written a letter to, because I was told by Susan Higdon at Sean Fraser's office to, you know, ask our CEO to write to his counterpart. I didn't notice who that was. She said it's sort of past the political level. You know, it's unfortunate that the Sarah has to try to find funding for to put in their own septic system when this is supposed to be going to happen 2 years ago. So we don't know where it is. I have no idea where that money is. Why it's not, you know, somewhere anyway, because it's already been approved. You know, it was approved by Parliament and everything, and already through before the last election. But it just seems to have gotten caught up in the bureaucratic tangle somewhere. So I guess through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask the CAO if that letter's been written or not.
Yeah, it was done last week.
Okay. So that's all we can do, I guess, other than, and hopefully they don't get to the point where we can't turn back. I mean, or where they can't turn back. We can still, it's still needed, like you said, for the community, but it's a possible waste of dollars, in my opinion, if we, only because of bureaucratic tangle. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two things. Thank you, Logan, for getting the Abercrombie sidewalk underway. It seems to be moving along quite nicely. It says here it's going to be completed in May. I don't think that's doable, but they're working on it. Yeah, so, okay. Second thing is that we had a meeting, and you have this as number 19. Councillor Watt and myself had a meet, and I think the warden was there as well, had a meeting with Department of Public Works. It must have been a year and a half ago, and we were looking for some answers on some rather simple questions. There was some that would have taken some time to get a fulsome answer on, which were the sidewalks in Little Harbor and West Road. But there was also things like crosswalks being painted on the line between Glasgow and Abercrombie, and whether that could be done. And there's been no response. I just don't understand why we couldn't get an answer on some of these simple issues. So, and I've seen you followed up, but I am kind of disappointed that we had that meeting and nothing of any kind of action has come from it. So, thank you.
Okay. Seeing nothing further, we'll move on. The Development Officer's Report. Next is the Streetlight Report. Councillor Wadden. Oh, you got it?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Logan, as you know, 5065 Little Harbor Road, nothing has been done by the Power Commission up till today. Mr. Rose was made aware that we had anticipated Nova Scotia Power being there within the last 2 weeks, and it's already been scoped, but they had to rescope it again or whatever, but there's still no sign of a pole. Is there someone we can reach out to see what, this light was requested in December of 2024. I think he's waited long enough for his light, I really do, and he's being very patient, but, and I understand there's a lot of work to be done to get the light to him, but it's got to get done.
Thank you, Councillor Wadden, through you, Mr. Chair. You're correct, I agree. The property owners waited an incredibly long time for this streetlight, and we were told that it was going to be installed last week. We were told a couple of weeks ago that it was going to be installed last week. So our strategy was to wait until Friday and see if it still wasn't up. Unfortunately, it still wasn't up. I sent our GIS analyst today to check out the site. It's still marked for a pole, but I have requested that it be escalated to somebody higher at Nova Scotia Power just to try to finally get it done. We had already escalated, as you know, to a higher authority, but we're looking to go even higher than that now to just make sure that it gets done. We did notice that they were doing some other work that had been, out front here, for example, that had been waiting for a while too. So that gives us a little bit of hope that that they are going to get to that one. But until it's finally up, we at this point we can't trust what they're telling us, the timeframes that they're giving us. So I think for us, we just need to try to get it another level up with somebody within the Nova Scotia Power Corporation.
Do you know who that would be?
No, we're looking for that contact right now.
Would you let me know where the status of is as it continues on, just so I'm aware from Mr. Rose? Thank you.
Certainly, thank you.
Okay. We'll move on to the GIS report. Next is the Emergency Services Report. And the Fire Inspection Report. The Building Officials Report. Councillor MacDonald.
I noticed, not this time, but last month, that you weren't here, Evan, but through you, Mr. Chair. There's a lot of them fire inspections say approved, okay, and that stuff, and they're still rejected. Just wondering why they're being rejected. Not this one here, but the previous months.
I'd have to go back, Councillor MacDonald, and see exactly what it is that you're talking about. Do you mean in the inspection status it's saying approved?
Yeah, not approved, it says fail.
Right.
But on the, I can't read this, but the volatile details, it says approved, okay, and it still fails. I'm just wondering why.
It's likely that overall it passed an inspection but needed some work with a re-inspection to make a final occupancy or like the occupancy amount to be posted in the building. Okay. I can look at that, Councillor MacDonald, and get back to you.
Thank you.
I just need to review it.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. We'll move on, the Bylaw Officer's Report. Councillor Bailey. Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is the bylaw officer back, or have we got a replacement for her in the time being? And then at the same time, are we still waiting for those deed searches for those, especially those three three properties that are in District 4. What is the update on those?
So to your first point, you may have noticed in Jason's report this month, he only had 2 interactions. That's because he's been filling in the capacity of bylaw over the last probably 4 weeks. Since then, we've contracted the services of Paul Smith from Shared Services from the landfill. So he's also filling in that department. We did just post that role as well today to hire a new bylaw enforcement officer. So it's certainly a time of flux in the department, but we've been trying our best to, I think, keep up with the emergent things that come in. So you might notice his report's only 2, and the bylaw report's like 12 interactions or something. Those were all like emergent issues that we had to deal with immediately. The beached animals, dogs running at large, there was a dog attack. We had numerous issues over the last month that needed to be addressed immediately. So there is somebody filling in the moment. And as for the title searches, unless Brian has an update, no, I believe we're still waiting on the title searches for those.
Did you, at the last time that was brought up, you said that you would check into it as to the reason for the, I mean, I guess this has been sitting on somebody's desk for at least 6 months, if not longer.
Yeah, I am waiting. There's a number of title searches coming this week, so hopefully it's in there.
Our friendly criminals have got these places already stripped, so we don't have to worry about somebody breaking into them. But especially there is one there that's very, very unsightly and very unsafe, and I do get not a lot of questions onto it. I get a question probably probably once a week from the same person. But again, I hate to say, well, you know, this. I mean, I guess their question is why. Their question is why does it take so long? Anyway, thank you.
Hopefully you get back this week, so. Okay. Next is the business items requiring action. District 9, streetlight approval at 111 Thompson Road, Priestville. Councillor Boyles, do you want to?
Yeah, the Darren Thompson and his family, and there's a new house been put out there in the on the Thompson farm, and at the intersection where the 2 roads meet and everything, I was talking to Kevin, and he said, yeah, that street light could be put there and for safety, and so we're asking that we can have a street light put in that location. So I move that we do turn around and allow for street light to be put there.
It was moved. Is there a seconder? Moved and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Count by aye. Count by nay. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to subdivision road policy review. Councillor MacKeil. Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So this is a request that I had put into Sue-Ann, but it's something that I've been thinking about for quite some time. And I've received many calls from residents concerning this issue, but all have a different story to tell about their experience with this. So basically what I'm requesting is that we have a look at our subdivision policy, specifically looking at the ownership, MOPC's ownership of private roads. And I guess my first question that I pose is, do we want to have ownership of roads as a municipality? Is that something that we want? My question is, with the cost of maintenance over time And what real benefit does it bring towards the municipality? The second reason for looking at this would be housing and economic development within our municipality. I feel that we should be encouraging residents and making this process easier, not harder. And with this, as you're aware, we have that 8-lot rule. It does, it can change the circumstances of properties, and we should be encouraging housing development. I know that my district is largely, you know, on the shoreline. And I can give you a few examples. You all hopefully all read the letter from Brenda regarding their experience with their situation with the private road. There's all different levels of private roads. There's everything from cow paths, what I call them, to the very best of condition, as in this case here. Another example is that I had sisters purchase a plot of land, quite substantial plot of land. I believe it was 100 acres or something. And by the time they went to subdivide it, there had already been 8 subdivisions on that road, so they could no longer subdivide it for their children in the future, which they had planned to do. What burden does 10 lots put on a lane? Why 8? So I think in my motion, before I put my motion forward, I will say, ask, it's my understanding that we have a private roads committee. Is that correct, Brian?
No.
We used to.
We did at one point when it developed the policy, but we haven't had that committee, and it was ad hoc, so.
It was ad hoc.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to make a motion that we review this policy and see what changes can be made. There's been a lot of people in different circumstances that have run into challenges with this. I know that there has to be something, but I'm not quite sure what that is. And I think we need to find that out so that we have an answer for that, because I find it very difficult. This 8-lot rule has been in place for quite a number of years. I know that different counties, like Lunenburg, have 16. Some don't have any. There's quite the array, but I can't answer this question. So if I can't answer it, I'm sure that there's many councillors around the table that couldn't answer it as well. So I'd like to move this forward and make that motion and have a look at this concerning ownership of roads for those 2 reasons. Is it the best interest in the municipality to keep ongoing future ownership of roads, and how can we encourage housing and economic development better by maybe looking at this policy? I'll ask for a seconder.
Just on that, Councillor MacKeil, the Planning Advisory Committee is planning, looking at this. It was something that I brought up a number of months ago. We were going to incorporate it with the agricultural subdivision, but we decided not to because it was such a big thing at the time. So once this was done, we're planning on having a look at it and come back to council with a recommendation. So, okay. Yeah, yeah. Make a motion for the Planning Advisory Committee to have a look at it. It's moved and seconded. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will vote in favor of this motion because I do believe that it's time we at least had a look at it. Whether we change things or not, we need to have a look at it. We know that we've had some people wanting less, some people wanting more, and there's probably nothing magic with the number 8, but somebody probably had to choose a number at some point and did some research on what was in other areas, and number 8 was picked. Would 10 be better? Would 6 be better? And I'm sure the Planning Advisory Committee will come back with a recommendation on that. I think in those areas where, you know, people have paid quite a bit of their own money, along with their taxes every year, to get their road up to scratch. And we have, I don't know if it's 10 or 12 or what it is now that we have of those type of roads. That seems to be working in the area, in my area anyway, relatively good. Those roads are, you know, kept in good shape by private contractors during the winter and during the summer season. And if we get their rules good enough on how they do it and maintain those rules, you know, there's Stanwood Drive. It's actually in the Deputy Warden's area, but you know, there's a number, including McIntosh Drive and some others in the Sylvester area, and people seem fairly happy with those roads. Every now and then you get a dust complaint or you get some complaints, but they did pay a lot of money, you know, for their half. We paid half and they paid half, and in case of Stanwood and Barclay Ridge up there, they would love to have theirs paved, but they have to pay half along with the county. And right now, that's beyond what they want to pay. But they make that decision. So in the, I think whatever we look at, whatever we do, if we say we don't want roads anymore, we don't want to be in the road business anymore, we have a commitment to those areas for sure, to look after those roads, because we paid our share and they paid theirs. But going forward, it's time maybe we did look at it. I don't think there's probably any place that's going to make everybody happy here, because it depends on your circumstances. But we don't want to have a whole lot of developments on some roads that are way under standard, that then people are then going to come here to us and say, you know, we pay a lot of taxes and, you know, we build a nice home and we're living on a cow path. So that's some of what was happening before, when we didn't insist on the companies putting up a bond to finish the road and pave it. You know, they were ending up on substandard roads and, you know, had all the reason in the world to complain that, you know, they're paying good taxes, why don't I have a good road like the rest? So I think we have to be very careful not to say, okay, go ahead and put 16 on here or whatever, but don't worry about fixing the road up. And next thing you've got a mess and they're coming here. So it's not going to be an easy one to look at. There's good and bad or ups and downs about it, but I think it is time we had a look at it and do the best we can, and that recommendation will come back to council. So I do support the idea of doing the study. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor MacKeil, sorry about that.
That's okay. I just wanted to say that it was important for me to put that motion on record, whether or not the Land Use Planning Committee was going to look at it or not. I think it's important to the people that I represent, and also the importance that this is to areas, not only in my district, but other districts around the municipality that I had that motion in place. I would ask, through you, Mr. Chair, that Logan speak on this. I saw in his report that he did some research and want to maybe get his point of view on things. Thank you.
Logan?
Thank you, Councillor MacKeil, and through you, Mr. Chair. I do appreciate Councillor MacKeil raising this. There are two active files, as Councillor MacKeil mentioned, in her own district that, including this one for which we had received this letter, that have been difficult to navigate. Our development officer and I review every application that comes through the lens of the existing policies and bylaws that we have in place. I do think that it makes a lot of sense at this point to look at that combination of bylaws and policies, especially knowing that the Planning Advisory Committee is going to be looking at additional changes to the land use bylaw following these changes to the agricultural planning rules that we have. The two in question in Councillor MacKeil's district, unfortunately, are products of these policies that we have, trying to ensure that adequate standards are met, but also historical inconsistencies in how they were being applied. So we've had that multiple times, not just in Councillor MacKeil's area, but other areas as well, where we do have lots that are considered substandard, some more substandard than others, some obviously to a better standard than others, that have been allowed. The 8-lot rule is identified in our subdivision bylaw as an exemption to the rule. So what we say is that roads need to be brought up to the municipal standard, designed up to the municipal standard, and constructed to the municipal standard unless they are 8 lots or fewer. That's where I think the inconsistencies that have happened. Since I've been here, which is just beyond 5 years now, we've really sought to meet those standards, and I think we've done a good job of it. But we've had other areas, one in Councillor Wadden's district that was a long-standing project as well that remains incomplete, essentially, in Chance Harbour for the exact same reasons. And there are other areas as well. So I just want to echo what Councillor MacKeil said. From a staffing perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense to look at these policies and the entire framework together going forward. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just on the private road list, Sea Oaks Drive, for example, is down 3 times. Is there a reason why it's the same road, Sea Oaks Drive, King's Head? There's only one down there. I'm just wondering why it's in there 3 times, and I've seen some duplications of others. I'm just wondering what prompts it to make multiple lists like that.
What's the name of the road again?
Sea Oaks Drive.
Yeah, it's probably just
Just a typo, yeah. But maybe we just have to look at that and get it kind of cleaned up too. Thank you.
Yep.
We're only taking it over once. Yeah.
Councillor Don Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to support Councillor MacKeil on this motion. I think it'll help get more development here. If we can go from 8 to 16 in these areas, and a lot of people spend a lot of money here, and they want to develop them further, and I think it's a worthwhile motion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. See nobody else. Motion on the floor. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Is there any deferred business? Motions of reconsideration? Community announcements? Oh. Joe. Councillor MacDonald.
This Sunday, the 24th, there will be a bike and hike poker rally at the Kensville Community Center. It's on for the Kensville Action Group. Starts at 2 p.m. and goes to 5. Beginner and intermediate courses, prizes, and lunch. And every Sunday until the fall, the American School Farmers Market's going on, 10 to 1, and every week there's a pop-up chef there for lunch. Thank you.
Okay. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not this Sunday, the last day in May, anyway, May 31st is a Sunday, week from this Sunday. There's a walk for Alzheimer's or any type of dementia being held, has been for a number of years now. It's held at the Trenton Park, rain or shine, and I think it's important that we get that message out in our communities, because a lot of our families, individuals are suffering from various levels and various types of dementia, and this is meant mostly to draw attention to that and, you know, to let the people that are suffering, in many cases their families, know that, you know, that it's being recognized, and hopefully that will cause more pressure to get more research done. And, you know, it's a fundraiser, yes, if you have $5 or $10 to throw in the pot, that's great, but it's mostly, I think, about recognition, you know, and to remember that a lot of people are suffering from it. So that's Sunday, May the 31st at 10 o'clock in the at the Trenton Park. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Councillor Bowles.
And, from Warden Parker, do they allow, like a lot of people have these scooters now that they can't walk, but they take their scooters. Do they allow them to put that in, or how does that work?
Go ahead.
I don't think it's a big, wide walking track and everything, so I don't think there'd be any, I didn't see any prohibition to anything. You know, if you want to take your dog walk along with you, or your kids, or, you know, whoever, it's pretty well, they just want people taking part. And it is rain or shine, because I was there last year, either last year or the year before, it poured rain the whole walk, you know, and so it was tough had to get going. No, I didn't see any sign of any prohibitions.
Okay, Councillor Murray, Deputy Warden Murray, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On May 31st, Sunday, 1 o'clock, there's going to be another session of Fire Smart at Scotsman at the Recreation. I think, Evan, you're going to be involved in that, or some people from here. So anybody wants to join in that, that'll be the second session that's taking place in Scotsman. May 31st, 1 o'clock, Scotsman Rec. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll just mention one in my area. District 13 Recreation and Planning Commission is planning on having a ham salad fundraising takeout dinner. So it's Saturday, May the 30th, 9 to 12. So if you're interested in ham salad dinner, you know who to call. Seeing nothing further, I'll call the meeting adjourned.
Everybody good? Yeah. Excuse me. All right, everyone. I will call the Financial Services meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Are there any emergency resolutions this evening? Go ahead, Councillor MacDonald.
I don't know if it's an emergency or not, but I was told to bring it up here. The there's one municipal services grant application that wasn't included in this package, our package this month. It was held a week after our package came out. It would save the staff time to doing this the next month. And I'm just looking for, put it on, it's not a big ask, but it would be beneficial for the organization to have their money sooner than later.
So just one of the organizations was not included in the package?
Yes,
And you'd just like to add that in?
yes.
Okay. Agreed? Agreed.
Thank you.
Perfect. Any other emergency resolutions? Seeing none? I will call for a motion for the approval of the agenda. Oh, yes, your Valley View thing, yes, yeah. Okay, I just need my motion first, so moved by Counselor Boyles, seconded by Counselor Turner, and we're going to add in the addition of the update from Valley View Villa Care. So let's put that at 9.9.4. Just before deferred business. Nine point 9.4? Or 9.9.4, it's right before deferred business?
Oh, yeah.
At the very bottom? It should be 9.14, yeah. In my head, both are correct. Okay, with that addition, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Any errors or omissions to our minutes, council minute, or our financial minutes of April 20th, 2026? Any errors or omissions, corrections? Any errors, omissions, corrections? Seeing none, we'll consider those minutes approved. Moving on to the in-camera discussion on April 20th, 2026. Any errors, omissions, corrections to those minutes? Any errors, omissions, corrections to those in-camera minutes? Seeing none, we'll consider those minutes also approved. Next, moving on to correspondence, we have, first we have correspondence from Municipal Affairs, Minister John A. MacDonald. He provided a 12-month notice of provincial legislation, regulation, or administrative actions that could affect municipal spending. We also had a correspondence from the Municipality of the District of St. Mary's with a letter of support for the Antigonish Coalition, and lastly, from the Town of Lockeport regarding Nova Scotia Power rates and ownership. Is there any comments or questions on that? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along from correspondence. Next, move along to reports not requiring a motion. First, we have the reports for communications for the month of April. Any questions or comments on the report for the month of April? Okay, move along to recreation. Comments or questions on the recreation report for the month of April? Seeing none, we'll move along to the warden's report. Any questions or comments on the warden's report? Okay. Healthy Pictou County report. Questions or comments on that? Our tax receivable report. As you can see, it's reset for the new fiscal year. Tax bills are out. Due a month from now, I think June 15th. Okay, and our deed transfer tax report. Any comments or questions on that this evening? Okay, moving along to reports requiring a motion. First, we have accounts paid for the month of April 2026. Can I have a motion, please? Moved by Councillor Turner. Seconded by Councillor Wadden. Any questions or comments on accounts paid for April 2026? Any questions or comments on the accounts paid? Final time. Comments or questions, accounts paid, month of April. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Can I please have a motion for the internet accounts paid for the month of April 2026? Moved by Councillor Parker. Seconded by Councillor Wadden. Questions or comments on the internet accounts paid for the month of April? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question on Kevin's service station, $41,357.49. Is that fuel for, or is that something else?
Thank you for that question, Councillor Palmer. That is most certainly an error. Most certainly an error, 100%. So I do apologize. I didn't note that at the time of submission, that was off. That is most certainly not a regular amount and not the amount of fuel we charged in the month of April or March.
Okay.
I will revise this report and resubmit this with the accurate number next to there, and I'll verify that nothing else is off on that as well.
Okay. No, thank you. I just thought it was kind of high. That's
Price of fuel.
diesel went up, but I didn't realize it went up that much. But.
Yeah.
No, I would say that was a line error in compiling the data, for sure, but it's certainly not representative.
Okay.
So we're still going to vote on the report with that revision to be made in the future, and you'll just send us that report, Rhiannon, when that is complete. Perfect. Go ahead, Deputy Warden Murray.
Well, I think that should be 1,300 because I checked them monthly and it's usually in that area. I don't think that fuller is supposed to be there.
It's probably the dollar sign. That's what that is. It's shift 4, which would be the dollar sign. On my keyboard, in my head. Yeah. Right on, Deputy Warden Murray. Figured that one out. Councilor Palmer, do you have any further questions?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. All right, next we're going to move along to our municipal service grants. So the first one, let me bring this up here. District 1, we have the Marigamish Streetlight in the amount of $40. Barney's River Station School Museum, $1,000 for door replacement. District 1 Development Society, $1,700 for newsletter production. Freedom Bible Church, $1,000 for door replacement. French River Community Society, $1,500 for maintenance. Hattie Cemetery Society, $500 for maintenance and community projects. Celtic Chorus Women's A Cappella Society, $1,000 for Christmas dinner and PC Helping Hands. Kensieville Cemetery, $1,500 for headstone restoration. Kensieville Community Action Group, $1,000 for treadmill purchase. Kensieville District Community Club, $1,500 for general maintenance. Lismore and District Community Center, $1,500 for general maintenance. Lismore and District Summer Program, $1,800 for programming support. Marsa, $2,000 for playground project. Marigamish Cemetery Company, $1,500 for maintenance. Pictou County Celtic Association, $900 for memory book of music. Piedmont Valley Cemetery, $1,500 for maintenance. St. Andrews Cemetery, Edgerton, $1,000 for maintenance. Sutherland's River Community Center, $1,500 for renovations to hall. Sutherland's River Pioneer Cemetery, $600 for maintenance. Telford Cemetery Association, $300 road gravel. And Thorburn War Memorial, $500 for operating costs. And that total there is $23,840. And your addition, Councillor MacDonald, to that?
The old school cooperative merchants for the farmers market every Friday night, $800 for operating costs. Takes it to $24,640. I so move.
Okay, we have a seconder?
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Palmer. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have District 3 Municipal Service Grants Request. We have the Bayview Hall Streetlight, which is $40 for the yearly cost. We have Bayview Community Hall, $8,700 for exterior painting of the hall. Caribou District Fire Department, $3,500 for a pump purchase. Caribou Island Cemetery, $500 for maintenance. Caribou River Community Hall, $4,500 for operating expenses. Central Caribou Cemetery, $3,000 for maintenance. Halliburton Cemetery, $4,000 for maintenance. Seaboard Cemetery, $2,500 for maintenance. St. James Mill Dam Cemetery, $1,800 for survey work. And Upper Caribou River Cemetery, $6,500 for their second year of maintenance and expansion of the cemetery. And Waterside Cemetery Company, $2,000 for maintenance.
I'll move it.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Seeing $37,040. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have District 6 Municipal Service Grants. We have Durham Community Hall, $6,000 for repairs to building. Salem Area Recreation Association, $10,000 for washroom and wheelchair ramp. And Salem Presbyterian Church, West River Fire Department Auxiliary, West River Presbyterian Church Hall, $5,000. Supply and install 2 steel doors for a total of $21,000. Sure, it's been moved. Oh, Councillor Bailey, it's moved and seconded. Go ahead, Warden Parker.
There's a lot of extra names got in there somehow. There were ones from last year. That last one for $5,000 should only say the West River Presbyterian Church Hall.
Okay.
You can't install doors in all those places.
I was wondering if they were in on a project together, what was going on there?
It got, those I know by looking at them are ones that didn't apply this year but did get money last year.
Okay,
Just as long as that's corrected, the total and everything's still correct.
okay, perfect. So with that correction, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. District 10 Municipal Service Grants. First, we have District 13 Recreation and Planning Commission, $5,500 for operating expenses. McPherson's Mills Community Hall, $2,000 for operating expenses. The Mountain Cemetery, McClellan's Mountain, $3,200 for maintenance. Thorburn Cemetery Association, $2,500 for maintenance. And Union Presbyterian Church, $2,500 for supply and install windows. Total of $15,700.
So moved.
It's been moved by Councillor Palmer,
Second it.
seconded by Deputy Warden Murray. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay, those are our municipal service grants. 'Tis the season, so I'm sure we'll have some more next month as councilors around the table have their municipal meetings, ratepayers meetings. Okay, next we'll move on to 9.5, which is council grant review, the MOPC Grants Review Committee recommendations for approval in the 2026-2027 budget. So I'll open the floor up to any comments or questions. Deputy Warden Murray, do you have any as chair of the grants committee that you want to?
No, we had thank you, Madam Chair. We certainly had another challenging meeting for sure. The ask was over around $1 million, I think a little bit above it. And certainly haven't got that amount of funds to give out, but we did the best we could, and hopefully everything's good. I know there's going to be some disappointments, but it is what it is. Can't give away the bank. Thank you.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Comments or questions? Councillor Bailey.
The Royal Canadian Legion in River John, they have to have their furnaces gone and they need a new one, which I think, if I remember right, it's around about 14,000. Question is why would this one be cut 60%? Now, I'm not going to go in and labor on as to what this building represents. I'm just gonna leave that alone, but I will say that the ones that are running the Legion now are very active. They can handle regular operations, but they cannot do any large unexpected expenses. But they do put on a breakfast. I believe it might even be twice a month that they do that. They do crib every month. They do a washer toss every month. They volunteer at the bar for any other activities that that anybody may rent the building for. So that they are very active. It just seems to be pretty punishing when they're knocked down 60% of their ask. I mean, there's another one coming there after that. That's, I mean, that's definitely a no, but I just don't understand why. It's the only Legion that we have in the municipality. What they used to do is they used to come to a municipal service grant, and now, of course, they can't because of getting this one here, which is understandable, and they know that. Their issue is now all the extra expenses that they were hoping to be able to cover their municipal service grant with is now going to have to all go into the furnace. So that means that they're not going to be able to look after the memorial gardens and stuff like that. So again, I question why 60%. That seems an awful lot when it is a very active group, and I just don't understand why 60%. And while I'm at it, I mean, the totals in this one category for this year is 176. What was the totals for that category last year?
Just one moment, Brian's gonna look that up, I think. While we're waiting on that number, Councillor Bailey, did you want to respond?
Yeah.
Deputy Warden? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, Councillor Bailey, that was cut. It wasn't even in the running at first. Figured it should be a municipal service grant by the committee, and then they come up with that amount. So that amount was just talked about. It wasn't whatever, but that was the amount that they come up with. And the same as the one in Scottsburn for United Church, they applied for 10,000 for a furnace, and that wasn't. They didn't get anything. That's got to go to municipal service grant too. So that's just an example. So, but 2,500 was agreed by the committee.
Well, to me, I don't understand it. Simple reason, people that use this Legion are not all from District 4. You know, to say that should have gone back as a municipal service grant. I mean, their furnace is broke. They can't operate without this furnace. They did get another grant for it, but at the end of the day, they don't have the funds. And if we had to took that out, of course, I guess I could have cut all the graveyards out and not give them, I could have gave it that way, I suppose, to them. But at the end of the day, and again, I'm not getting into the reason for the building, but I think at the end of the day, that should have, I mean, to me, they're just probably just important. Pictou Agricultural Society wasn't cut at all. A lot of them weren't cut. We're using the Presbyterian Church. I could understand that if it was one of the churches of them. I could understand that, but a Legion, I just can't accept. I think it's very, very poor on this council to pick on
you have a total, Brian, for last year?
Last year was 304, 426 in that category.
Quite a bit more. Why the asks are less?
Oh, no, that was the request, sorry. The amount was 220, the amount that was paid out in that category was 222,721.
Oh, roughly 50,000 less this year. What's the reason for that?
Last year, we had a large, there was 45,000 paid out to the Agricultural Society, the barn, so that was year 2 of 2, or we did it over a 2-year period, so there was 45 there. So that's the big one.
Am I
So
correct?
it was 90?
I think, but yeah, I believe it was 90,000 over 2 years.
So there would be another, well, the
Last year was the final payment, yeah.
So we're fixing up Tailman for burns, so we're not gonna help our veterans. That's great. Can't believe it. And, I mean, maybe I overtalked too long. I can't believe that, but the only problem is with this committee, council can't overrule it. There's 6 against 6. Technically, when you come out of a committee, council can't overrule. Again, which is not really very democratic.
Okay, Counselor Thompson.
I guess my question's on the community connectivity grants. And it's my understanding that as part of that policy that we developed, that we were setting aside $150,000 a year for community connectivity grants. And the amount requested in that category was $246,000, and we only gave out $65,000, and I'm wondering why that was the case.
Go ahead, Deputy Warden Murray.
Because the other ones didn't qualify because of the 3-year.
And again, I'll just say that I always thought that policy was flawed. And it continues to be flawed because there's an application for my district in there this year. And it's a very substantial project that's being worked on. And just because one of my 7 community centers received funding 3 years ago, they're not qualified. And the fact that we have $246,000 and we only gave out $65,000 in that category, my understanding is that funding gets carried over to the next year. Is that correct? Does that accrue the same way that a municipal service grant account for a district accrues? That's the way it was explained to me originally. Is that correct? So there's about $85,000 that's going to carry over to next year, so we'll have $235,000 next year that we can give out, and is that the way it should work?
That is the way the policy is written.
So that needs to be accounted for in our budget, that there's going to be $85,000 set aside for next year. It's a flawed policy. It's just flawed. People are asking for money to do things, and we have this 3-year policy. It would take me 21 years to get, if I hadn't already done the work in my buildings, in my
in my district, it would take 21 years to get the full benefit of this policy, which is crazy because there's some districts have one community center. I have 7 and I have 4 fire departments. So it's a flawed policy. It's not weighted fairly. And I want that $85,000 in a budget line to be held over for next year to go on top of it. And I'm curious as to how much more money is accrued in that fund, because we don't spend it. We transfer it over to do other budget lines, whether it's a barn or something else. That money is specific for community buildings and community infrastructure, and it's flawed. So that $85,000 should be on a line to be held over for next year.
And that is, it will be, correct, Brian? Yes.
Yeah, that's the way the policy is worded.
Okay. Counselor Boyles?
Yeah, I just have two, oh boy, it's raining. I just have two questions or statements. One is, I said before, and I'll say it again, is if all this money is there and we're gonna put it next year or whatever, it should go as, if they're saying it's for community, involvement, then that's where it should go to. Rural Pictou County involvement, not given to the other towns, not given to the other places, Pictou County, because, I mean, that's our taxpayers' money as far as I'm concerned. Also, when you say about the veterans and saying it being a veterans organization, today, I'm a veteran myself. I don't know if anybody else in here is, maybe they are, I'm not sure. But I know that we're the veterans, the Legions are not veterans places anymore. They're run by, the sons and daughters now can be off a veteran, can be presidents or whatever you want to be. So it's more or less a club. It's not like it used to be. It used to be a great organization, but I'm just saying that there's too much put on emphasis saying, oh, veterans organization. Well, it's not a veteran organization anymore. Thank you.
Can I clarify the 3-year thing?
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Just on the 3-year thing, it's not your district. It's that organization cannot receive funding within 3 years. So if you had community group X got it in 2025, they're no longer eligible for a 3-year period. It's not that your district is not eligible. Another group within your district could be.
So I need clarification, if I could, Madam Chair. I have a childcare project going on in Plymouth. And Plymouth Community Center has not received a council grant in about 6 or 7 years. So the reason I understood that they never received a grant this year was because Sunny Bray received one 3 years ago. So I need clarification. It's important for these organizations. If we're going to have policy, we have to stand by it. And rather than have it roll over into the next year when organizations, and there's more than Plymouth that's been asking for this money, why should they wait if the money's there? That's what they're going to ask us. So I need clarification from the committee as to why Plymouth, if that's the case, why was Plymouth not eligible this year?
Go ahead, Deputy Warden.
Trying to go back in my memory here what took place that night, but I don't think we were explained that.
I think how the policy reads is,
There you go.
Go ahead.
Oops, sorry. Hit your button again, Randy.
I think how the policy reads is that if your district received one in 3 years, and there was requests from other districts that didn't receive it in the 3 years, that those districts would be
Priority.
would be given. But I do think we made a mistake by not allotting the 150 for this year, because there was, after the districts that didn't receive them in the previous 3 years, we had groups that didn't have it in 3 years, but because their district received it, we figured that they weren't eligible, right? So I think that's something that we should go back as a committee to look at and come up with a decision.
I think it was explained to us that if your district received the money, not that organization.
Yeah, but I do believe it means if there's three districts applied for 50,000, they didn't receive those districts didn't receive any money in the previous three years, then they'll be given priority to. But if a group hadn't received it and we didn't spend the 150,000, then that money could be allotted to the district that an organization hasn't applied in the previous 3 years. So. But I do think that the committee should go back and look at it. So.
Did you want to follow
Because the
up?
policy does say that the money does get carried over to the previous years.
Sorry to interrupt you, Councillor Palmer. Did you want to add to that, Deputy
Yeah,
Warden?
definitely we'll go back and look at that, because I'm sure the committee didn't understand what we did there. I think we were trying to follow the policy, I guess, and we weren't quite understanding it. So, yes, we will go back. The committee will convene and go back and have a look at that.
Yes, go ahead.
Before you go back, confirm what's accrued in that account.
There's nothing accrued in that account. We've spent the 150 every year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll finish it up with you, Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, I was just wondering, you're gonna go back and look. Well, if there's a problem, if you're saying, okay, you find, okay, there's a problem, that other people, how many people didn't put in for this because they thought they were in the same boat? So if you're gonna turn around and change it and make it so, I think you're gonna have to open it up again so people can put in. I mean, it's only fair. You can't have it one way and not the other.
Go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
Just on that, we don't tell other groups, they read the policy themselves, right? So every group that here was the ones that applied for the money. So it's not opened up to every group now. It's just these groups that apply for that money this fiscal year. That's all. We can't open it up to a new set of applications because it's up to you to understand the policy. It's like for the group to. So we didn't. But if the group had submitted it, we would have had debated too. But we're not going to open up it. It doesn't make sense.
Just wait, please.
Nothing makes sense except for turn
Well, excuse me.
Okay, give certain people what they want, but other ones, listen, go back and set in the dungeon. This is not right. I don't care.
Okay. Let's get back to decorum here. There's policies and procedures we need to follow here. Okay. And how to run meetings, we each have a turn to speak, and we have to follow that. And I'm trying to be fair to everybody, so, okay? Okay. All right, so it is agreed that our grants committee will meet again,
Only on that.
only on that section about the community connectivity grant. And we request that we have an updated policy in front of us that evening, or an updated, a current policy, excuse my terminology there, to look at that, okay? Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I see you're discussing community connectivity grants there. There's a couple in my area there, District 7. If there's money available in that pot of money that wasn't used, I'm wondering why Union Center needs a new well. It's 13,500, they only got 5,420. Why wasn't more allotted? If the money's available, why wasn't, like,
There's a maximum.
We give up to 60% of the project.
So we don't fund the full project, it's only 60%.
Okay, all right. I just was curious. 'cause you
40%,
get-
excuse me.
You got money there.
So, yeah,
All right, okay, thank
There's
you,
a-
Madam Chair.
there's a equation there that,
Yeah, I heard that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we don't fund the full project. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, is there any other comments or questions regarding the council grant review? Go ahead, Councilor Boyles.
Yeah, you just said there a minute ago about the, we gotta follow policy and everything, follow form and everything that's going on. Then 2 seconds later, you've got, Councilor Palmer turn around and answering the question. Nobody asked him to answer that question. So it's to say, are we gonna have it that it's done properly, or is it just certain people gotta follow things? That's what I'd like to know. But also, getting back to what I said before, we might have been somebody in my district and in one of the other councillors' districts that was going to put in for this, but they looked at the policy and said, no, we can't do that, because somebody already had that in mind, or somebody, so we didn't. But you turned around and just said, well, it's their responsibility to understand the policy. But the people that are going to making the money and giving the money out didn't understand the policy. So how was the other people supposed to? So I think it's really miscarriage of justice that you turn around and say, okay, we're going to open it up. If you're going to do anything, put it for next year, and then make sure you got it right next year. But I can't think you can't make apples and oranges. You can't turn around and use one way and the other way. If we're going to do that, well, I don't think the public's going to like it too much myself.
Deputy Warden Murray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The only ones we're gonna look at is the Community Connectivity Fund of the applications that were sent to us this year, which the policy is out there, but the committee didn't quite understand or led astray on it, and that's what we'll look at. The policy is the same as what everybody else got, so we'll just go over that, see what's wrong with it, see what we did, and then we'll look at it again. But the applications, that's the only ones we got this year, off the same policy that we're gonna look at. Thank you.
Okay.
It's the only ones you have. Because they turned around and they thought the same thing.
No, they don't.
That you turned around and put in for it. So they didn't. But if they hadn't known they would have put in for it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Brian's going to address this.
Just on that point, the community, people apply for grants, we slot them into the program. So you're not applying for community connectivity. You're applying for a grant. We have a fund that is allocated for special things. We bring that to the committee and say, this would fit under your community connectivity. So it's not that there's groups out there that wouldn't have applied because of this policy. This is an internal allocation of the grant. It's not that the public are being misled in any way. That's an internal, we have a special pot of money that if the projects meet there, and they have to be organizations operating in the municipality, that's where we make the allocations. It's a budgeting exercise.
So to
more
be
than
clear,
anything.
everybody is applying for a council grant. They're
Right.
not applying for a specific category within a council grant. When those applications are received, internally, we put them in the different categories where they fit.
Yeah, it's for reporting purposes. So we have a number of groups that apply for money. They're more recreation and culture, so we assign them to a recreation and culture grant. It's more for reporting purposes than anything.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Thompson, we'll let you finish it off.
For reconsidering. That's, appreciate that. That's the best, you know, like, I appreciate the reconsideration. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. We're going to move along to the 9.6, the River John Legion request for emergency funding.
I'll withdraw that.
Going to withdraw that. Uh, 9.7, Municipal Audit Committee nominees. So as you're aware, we've had a vacancy on municipal audit for quite some time. And we've received 2 applications from Sarah McKinnon and Lindsay MacDonald, and both are interested in joining the audit committee. However, we only have 1 vacancy. Go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
I'd like to declare a conflict.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, it is noted in that Councillor Palmer has noted a conflict, declared a conflict. Go ahead, Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When I read these 2, I could have flipped the names. I mean, they're basically twins. You know, they're both fairly young compared to me, I guess, but they're fairly young people, both females, both from sort of the same area, or, you know, Marigamish, Little Harbor, not that far apart. I really couldn't pick one over the other. It's unfortunate that sometimes we have nobody apply, and now we have 2 people apply who are, you know, both very qualified. I just didn't know how to choose between the 2 of them. Is there, are we allowed at all to go exceed that? Because somebody might leave someday, and are we allowed to exceed that at all? Or is there any exceptions, or do we have to stick? Because sometimes, like I say, it's hard to find that new person when you need somebody.
Are we allowed to have?
You would have to change your policy. Your policy sets the limit at 8.
That's what?
Sets it at 8. So it's the 5 councillors and 3 citizen appointments.
Okay.
for
No, I
maximum
was just
of 8.
looking for some way out of it, because they, I couldn't, you know, I could pick either name, I could switch their names on the resume and have the same feeling, you know, so maybe somebody else knows them better, or one might be better than the other, I don't know, but I've never seen 2 applications that were so similar.
One's from District 8 and District 2? Yeah. Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
No, I'm in the same boat Warden Parker's in. I couldn't believe we got such 2 great candidates that, and for an audit committee that really needed a couple of good people on it. Like, it's just really unfortunate. I would hope that whoever we choose, and again, I don't think it's an easy way to choose because they're both very qualified, to let one of them know that to keep applying. We would like to have her on there and just keep, I mean, those nominations come up every year, I think, don't they? For the most part. Anyways, it'd be really nice to be able to get this second person on the audit committee. But again, I don't know how we're going to choose, because both of them are very qualified. So.
And we've had a vacancy for so long.
Exactly, yeah.
And nice to see 2 great candidates applied at the same time. Go ahead, Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. I'm wondering if we can simply, I know we gotta take a look at our policy if we're gonna do this, but why can't we just have that the majority of appointments are council appointments, and the minority could be up to that minority threshold, which would be 4, could be citizen appointments. Why can't we just do that, and then we could fit both of them in there?
Doesn't matter how you do it, you still have to change policy.
I guess we'll select one tonight and then change the policy and select the one. Just tell them that we'll. Because I agree. Like, if you get good people, you can't lose them. Like,
Right.
and so.
Somebody else might resign too, and we need them.
Yeah. So I don't know how you go with this. I'm gonna defer to Debbie and let her lead the charge here.
Go ahead, Council. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Brian.
If you want to change policy, the next committee meeting isn't until July. In theory, we could bring a draft policy amendment back next month, which would be your June meeting. It would be approved in July, and you could make your appointments in July, if
And-
that is the way you wish to proceed. You do have time on your side.
Audit committee doesn't meet for.
It's July, it's mid-July, so if that's the direction you want to go, just table these recommendations and make a motion to amend the policy or bring back a recommendation on policy.
Okay. Someone wants to say something as well.
I was going to say you could also appoint one person tonight and get that process done and then change your policy and have the second one ready.
You've got time, like,
6 one, half dozen the other, like it, I don't mind appointing one tonight with the intent of changing our policy to accommodate both. I don't know how would you let them know in the letter we're doing that, or?
Whoa, just wait.
So do you need a motion tonight then to have a look at our policy to change it, to bring in 4 citizen appointees as opposed to 3? So I'm just asking this, you need the motion tonight.
yeah. So your direction is you can appoint one and make the recommendation to review policy. So that can be a motion, or the motion can be that you table these appointments
I
and,
think I'd rather go with tabling them, like tabling the 2 appointees and then bring them both on together in July, if we could do that. So that would be okay. And that's the motion, I guess I'm making, then to change the policy to accommodate both citizens.
Okay. And then that's ended, then we vote on that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. 1 nay. Councillor Boyles? Okay. I'm sorry. I thought if we tabled, we have to have the vote right away. Is that not correct? If something's, if a request has been tabled.
correct.
Correct.
A motion, it's motion to defer it is non-debatable.
It's non-debatable.
Yeah, it's not, it's deferred, right? It's a semantics on the words, but it is to defer it to a future meeting. That's not a debatable motion.
So,
Yeah.
discussion is complete
On that point,
on that point.
the motion was to table
Defer
or
the
defer
nomination.
the nominations
Yeah.
pending review of policy.
Yep.
That's a non-debatable.
Non-debatable. I'm sorry, it's not about not having you speak. It's about if she tables something. So, am I in the wrong here?
The microphones go on the way people ring in. So Councillor Wadden was ahead of Councillor Boyles, the warden, and Councillor Dewar's third on the list. So, yeah, so that's the way it is. The motion was made.
The motion was made, so this is the end of conversation for this topic this evening. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Pardon me? We voted on the motion. Okay. If it's... Just 1 second, just wait for your mic, just wait.
Press your button. There you go.
Just from Brian is this. I think it's wrong what we're doing, and I'll find out when I'm away, but here's what it's down to. We have a policy. our policy says that, you know, we have so many, yeah. So now we're gonna try and have have a setback and nobody talk and nobody do on it because they wanna change this policy. And we can do that every time that we got, I think that's wrong, and I think that, if it was something else that, that you were running into, yeah, but not when it's a policy already in our books. So that don't make sense. I really think that, the CEO is wrong on this one, but we'll see.
We will have another chance to debate this next month. It's not off the agenda, it's just tabled until next month. Okay? So we will all have a chance to say our word. It's not like it's done forever. We'll have a chance to do that going forward. Okay? So it's tabled until next agenda. Okay, moving forward, 9.8, tax sale write-offs. Requests from the recent tax sale have been published, and the following write-offs require approval from the Finance Committee. So, we have write-offs in the amount of $170,799.85. Correct. Okay. And Brian, these are for properties, do you want to explain these? This is the properties that sold, that now we're writing off the taxes that were on those properties, correct?
Correct. So it's the difference between what was bid and what was owing,
What was bid and what was owing.
minus expenses. We've recovered the minimum bid, the 1,200 was the expenses. So that's been recovered, so the difference is what was bid plus the 1,200 minus what was owing. So that's the amount that will be written off.
Yeah, okay. So, can I have a motion, please? Yes, move to write off, do the write-offs. Okay, moved by Councillor Wadden. We have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Palmer. Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The only question I have is the difference between the pink blocks and the green blocks. I didn't know what that meant.
Sure. So the difference between the color coding,
Yeah.
so the pink block is the second place bidder,
Okay.
and the green block is the third place.
Okay.
So we had bidders who bid and then withdrew from it. So that's the difference on those. So we went to the next highest bid.
So just to be clear, all the white ones that don't have a box, they're the first bidder.
Correct.
Pink ones are the second place bidder.
Correct.
And the green one there,
Was-
that one is the third.
We ended up going to the third.
Third
Yep.
place bidder, okay?
Yep.
Just your clarification, okay? All right, is there any question on these tax sale write-offs? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Councillor MacDonald, 9.9 is asked for a tax sale update on the next tax sale. Can you please provide that, Brian?
Sure. Yeah, so we're working towards the next tax sale. We're probably sometime in August, and we may push that into September just because of the summer. Summer may not be the best month or time to hold them, but that's really where we're working at now. We should hopefully have 60-day notices ready in the next couple of weeks on those.
So we're aiming for September for our tax sale?
Yeah, we could
Early
do it.
fall.
We could do it in August. We probably have the time frame to meet August, but we'd probably push it back into September. Just
Hard to have people in the summer, yeah.
and depending on method that we do, if we do it by tender, August would work. But if we do it by auction, it's probably better in
Are you thinking
September.
of changing the method this time?
We're still debating whether or not what we bring back here. The sealed bids worked. It was good. There's a few improvements we'd make to how we accept them. The last time it was basically everything was done in kind of paper form. We'd make it electronic submissions the next time. That'll cut down on a huge amount of administration that we had to go through and separate them, and so it would fix that process. It would kind of thing, but the bid process worked. The only thing I would say on the bidding process, and the question Councillor Wadden asked about the color, I would say some bidders, the way we had it structured was once you were notified, you had 3 days to pay. Some people use that time period as the point for them to do their due diligence on the property. Right? So the way the act is structured is that if you do a tax sale and somebody bids, say, the minimum bid, that's paid at the time of sale. And then you have 3 days to pay any surplus amounts. And if you don't pay the surplus amounts within 3 days, we can hold that other money and deduct expenses off for us having to resell. So the tender submission doesn't really allow us to do that. So it did create a bit of extra work having to go to the next bidder, but not, it wasn't an onerous thing. It just happened in a few cases. But really what it was is the people submitted bids, didn't have a clue what they were bidding on. We had one person say the description on the property was wrong. It said indwelling, and there was no dwelling on it. And they were like, well, there was no dwelling on it. Well, if you do any sort of research, Google Maps, if you looked at it on Google Maps, you could tell there was no dwelling on it, right? And Google Maps wouldn't be current, right? It would have been probably 2 or 3 years ago that it was actually done. So that's one of the hiccups that we had with it, but not a big one to overcome. But I think overall the process worked. If we digitize it, kind of thing, it would
Speed it up.
speed it up for us, type thing. It did take a little bit of time that way.
Okay. Councillor MacDonald.
Okay, I just watched the last week or month's thing online. Did they say there were 600 or 700 possible tax sales? Possibles? That there could have been if you went by the letter of the rules of the Municipal Act?
600 or 700 properties?
Yes.
Yeah, that number I think is high.
So even if half, if we're gonna push ahead of this, we should probably plan on a couple tax sales a year, at least, to get things going and down.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody pays their taxes, and expect everybody else to do it, and if there's X amount of people not paying, it's gonna hurt us into the game if people see that.
Yeah, so the policy that you approved at council did call for more aggressive measures. So those have actually been implemented this month. So the first kind of tranche of warning letters went out this month with about 300,000 owing. So we targeted the big accounts or whatever, and within a week we've collected like 125,000 off that list. So we're starting to see that, and these ones are properties that are kind of on that cusp. Are they required or eligible? They're maybe not required right now, but they could become, so it's kind of the 2-year mark.
Yeah. I just hate to see a revisit with them people next year. Thank you.
Yeah, and their bill, yeah. Okay, Warden Parker.
I turned it off, sorry.
There you go.
Have
I thought I had to turn it. Thank you, Madam Chair. Sort of following up on Councilor MacDonald, we're under sort of provincial watch here now, I think, to see how we're doing. So we got one done, that's good, but we got a lot to go. Have we solved the legal problem, which seemed to be the people in Halifax way too slow or not doing it at all, and we were going to go to more local lawyers? Is it still in the hands, this one coming up, is it still in the hands of the Halifax people, or have they sent them to us, or are we moving on, I guess?
Yeah, so the tax sale in August, September is, title searches have been completed.
We have it back.
Through Halifax. Our next round, we do have an agreement, or have identified local firms that will assist with it. So
The next lot, which we'll call Lot 3, I guess.
Yeah, they
is
would be
going to
two-
the local people.
would be different
More than
firms.
one?
Yep, potentially more than one.
Eventually more
Yep.
than one. Because the sooner we get round 3 started, otherwise there's a big stall between each round here. How many's on round 2 again?
I think it was 150.
150, okay. I'm scared of August growing into September, growing into October, and, we're Christmas time, we're still trying to get it done. So I think the sooner we get it done, the better, but you might be right in that you don't get as many bids in August as you might in September. The other question I have, Madam Chair, is you mentioned going all digital or electronic or whatever. Does that mean that somebody who's not computer literate won't be able to bid on this?
No, you could still submit via paper, but
yeah,
the vast majority are.
Yeah, I know the majority are, but I hate to see somebody ruled out
no,
because you don't know how to run a computer.
You use both methods, but,
No, as long as it's
the general
available.
rule is.
Yeah, I know most people are, but as long as you're not ruling somebody out because they don't know how to run a computer. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, any other final remarks on the tax sale update? Okay, we'll move on to 9.9.1, update on RFP for Valley View Villa. Councilor MacDonald had asked to put this on an update for the RFP and the repurposing of the building. Go ahead.
Sure. So, working on it, rough draft. Probably be a few more weeks for me to just kind of fine tune it. I think I've kind of, the way I'm writing it right now, it's a 2-step process. One being concept, like, so people would submit what their concepts would be, and then the second step would be the more formal negotiation with whoever we decide would be the ideal proponent. So that's when we would get into more contract terms and protecting our interests. Like, there was some discussion around bonding and things like that. So right now, I'm leaning that to do all of that in one step is probably not ideal type thing. So, so the way I've kind of got it, and when I say rough, it is rough. It's kind of just building on other RFPs, but that's kind of the way they have it kind of structured right now, is that it would be a 2-step process.
Is there a date when you're planning to have that finalized?
I'd like to have it done in the next few weeks and out.
Okay. Go ahead, Councilor MacDonald.
The Valley View Villa is the new home is scheduled for February 2028, and we only have 6 months after that from the province to look after the things, and we need to process faster if possible. It's just, it's coming quick, and the board, I think we can say that we need this to move ahead quickly to get everything in roll.
Wheels
Thank
in
you.
motion?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I can't believe it's 2026. 2028 sounds like it's foreign concept. Okay. Any other final comments or questions on the RFP? Okay, hearing none, we'll move along to 9.9.2, Colburn McClellan's Brook Water Project Phase 2. Councillor Palmer asked to put this on. He's bringing forward a motion for council to apply to the federal government Build Community Strong Fund for Phase 2 of this project. Go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So on April 7th, the federal government announced this new funding program that's coming out. It's the Federal Government Build Community Strong Fund. And there's not a whole lot of details on it yet, but we had a whole project that was submitted, and we had to downsize it because of the funds that came in over tender, over what we allotted. So this is the next phase of that project to complete that whole project. So I'm asking council to support a motion to apply to this fund. And I think the sooner that you get in, like, everything's done for it so far. So all we have to do is resubmit an application with the new area outlined. We didn't pick up some of the side roads in this phase 1, and then we stopped a section in the middle. So this would connect everything up the way we had it in for the overall project. So I'll make that a motion.
Okay, moved and seconded by Deputy Warden Murray. Okay, Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of questions. Is this only for the areas that got missed, or is there new areas being added in this?
It's basically the areas that were missed, but there are 1 or 2 homes that just an extension to it, not very far. But it's basically the areas that were missed.
Yeah, not taking in a big new area or anything,
No, just maybe a couple homes on either end of the thing.
And what's our cost? I know we're looking for their money, but what would our cost be, our share for that? Or do we know that yet? Whatever was dropped, I guess.
Whatever their funding
for.
formula.
Yeah, so at this point, there's not a lot of program details out. And the call for projects isn't even out at this point, so.
So we have no idea.
Yeah.
We're voting on moving ahead forward. We have no idea on our cost, you're saying?
Yeah, traditionally, if it follows the same programs, it's basically 73-27. 73 from the upper levels of government and 27 from municipal would be the.
And that would be funded from our 27 or whatever. I'm not against the project. I'm just trying to get an idea of what the cost is.
At this point, we can't tell you where it would be funded from because we need to know more on the program itself, right? And when it's going to open up. Like it may not open up for another year, right? So then you could be 2 years down the road before you're having to look at financing it, right?
And this is just applying for an application to apply for it. When it comes back, then council will make the decision whether to move forward, depending on the amount that we receive.
Okay.
Go ahead then.
Okay, Councillor Boyles. Oh, a second, we just gotta turn some mics off here.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, my concern is there's been a lot done out, out McClellan's Brook and the places. I think ever since I became a councillor, there's stuff going on. It's not wrong, it's not bad, but it's just that we have a problem in Hillside with the water department and with our lift station and everything. And it's been going on since I've been a councillor. We're paying thousands and thousands of dollars every year out on water pumps going in and pumping that thing out. Yet, when there's something like this come up, it's why aren't we going after that and get it fixed and save all that money? Instead of taking all the taxpayers' money every year and paying it out to these pumping companies that, Karen was here, she read off how much it cost us to have that pumped out every time, and every time it's a storm, and the weather's supposed to get worse, according to, Evan and them, that this is, plus everything you go to. We were in Yarmouth, they were talking about, we're in for some bad stuff coming. But yet, we're gonna keep paying the money to have that pumped out. So I think something like this, if anything, they should be trying to get Hillside fixed and get that pumping station so we don't have to have pumper trucks there every time there's a storm or something. Thank you.
Can I ask if we're allowed to apply for multiple projects, or you're only allowed to apply for one?
Don't know the answer to that. At this point, we don't know what the parameters are. Previous programs, infrastructure programs, you were limited to 2. Others, they had the number set at 3. So until they release the program details, we don't know that.
Until they release the application
Yeah.
and the timeline and all that stuff, we won't know until that is.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay, Councillor Thompson.
I support this. I think this is a worthwhile project. It shows a 20-year vision of where this community in Colborne and Thorburn and Collinsbrook will be. It promotes density, promotes housing options. I know there's a lot of new development that's going to take place just because they got water out there. Like, this is what this area of the county needs. It's already got that community core. It's got a rink. It's got a school. It's got service station. It's got a nice community-run store. This is the final piece for that whole neck of the woods. And I applaud Councillor Palmer's leadership on this. And I think that this is a worthwhile project. It's probably the best project right now for development in Pictou County as a whole.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thompson. Any other final comments or questions? There is a motion on the floor. Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Good, Donnie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Donnie, your name wasn't up here.
We voted now, so it's too late.
Wasn't up, I'm sorry. Contrary minded? No contrary minded? Yeah. You, yep, 1. Councillor Boyles? Motion carried. Sorry, I looked at my screen and it didn't have your name and I called for the vote. Student casual employment policy. So we need to include criteria for casual employees, add that to the list for that? the
Yes,
policy?
so I don't have a lot to add over in the memo, over and above what the memo had. It's really just establishing a policy on how we would pay casual employees. So just adding clauses in there to reflect that. That in essence, we would pay anywhere from $3 to $9 above minimum wage for casual, depending on the person's qualifications, and what they're doing for us. So,
How many casual employees do we have working here at any time?
right now, we have 3
Filling in,
filling in.
like
And
sick days, that sort of thing?
could be sick days, vacations, absences, that unexpected absences type thing. And they all bring different skills. Some you can slide right into a position and you could assign them the daily tasks that the permanent employee would have.
Mhm.
Others, they're doing, filling seats, I guess, not the, like, just doing, you know, like,
Basic tasks.
basic tasks, right? So a wide range of things that we have. So, so this just establishes the range, and then the department heads, as part of their budget submissions, will recommend a wage type thing. So.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion for the update to the student casual employment policy. Moved by Counselor Wadden, seconded by Counselor Palmer. Any question or comment on the policy? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. 9.9.4, this is our update from Counselor Turner regarding Valley View Villa, an update on the care. Go ahead, Counselor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is from Sarah Fanning, Bachelor of Science and RN, as she's the site manager of the Valley View Villa. I've asked that she send a regular report to the board members to update us on how things are progressing during the strike. And this is what she said. Good afternoon, board members. Strike action began 4 weeks ago today. This was sent to me on May 14th. We continue to navigate through the QP labor disruption and caring for our residents with the essential service agreement. Quality meals continue to be offered to our residents. I've attached an updated menu for your review, and I can forward that to anyone. I have it here, and if you'd like that, just contact me and I will forward you to the menu. Medication delivery continues without interruption, and resident care plans are being followed. Recreation activities continue to be offered on a smaller scale, and we look forward to the students' arrival by the end of the month. So there's students coming in and help with recreation. So those things should be ramped up a little better when the students come. If any concerns arise, management is happy to meet and review them. So there's a complaint procedure that's in place at the Valley View Villa. I'd be happy to have anybody navigate them. And so if you have any questions or any concerns, you can just contact me and I'll help you navigate the complaint procedure there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the update, Counselor Turner. Go ahead, Counselor Boyles.
I think where Valley View Villa is our home, and we're responsible for a lot there. That why don't we have this lady in? Why can't she come in and come to council and present in front of us? Because this could be a serious, I mean, I don't know if you guys look at Facebook, but I do, and it's on all the time about the meals and the way that people are being treated, not getting bathed for weeks, you know, and it's awful. It's real awful what's going on. Some of the foods, I have pictures of some of the foods that was sent to me that they're feeding them on paper plates. I mean, it's not even, you wouldn't give it to your dog, some of them. But I'm just saying that I think the woman, you know, she's one of our employees, like as I say, through the council and everything. So I think she should come in, and then we could question her and get it on the record. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Boyles. Counselor Thompson.
Include Pictou County rant and rave, okay? There's a complaint process. If there's real concerns about care at the villa, whether there's a labor disruption or not, there's a process in place. We are a home that's like any other home in Nova Scotia that has accreditation. We are governed by rules that are set by our main funder, which is the province. So responding to complaints that come from Tim Hortons or Facebook or whatever else, that's not how you run a home. And if people have legitimate concerns, there's a process, and that's where it should never come to this council table, a private concern from a resident. It should be dealt with appropriately under those processes. It's a difficult situation with everybody involved. I know the people that are on the picket line don't want to be out there either. They would rather be caring for the residents. And hopefully this will get settled soon, but we got to follow the process and it's all there, the protocol, the complaints. Like if it's a really serious issue, then it should be addressed. But we can't take our direction from Facebook.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thompson. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a hard one to gauge. You know, you're hearing totally different stories, you know, between what's coming from Valley View itself, the spokesperson for them, and what Councillor Boyles is bringing forward. And I did hear it on the provincial news one day, and it was Valley View Villa, and it may have been the case that Councillor Boyles had mentioned before, I don't know, but it was a lady talking about her mother and very similar conditions. I have not had any calls, and I don't know of it. Nobody approached me about the situation. And I'm not talking about the strike, but I'm talking about the care that those people are getting. But I don't think it's wrong to bring it here. You know, it's an issue that deals, you know, with a lot of families in this county that have residents there. If there is concerns, then I think it's rightful to ask, and it's rightful for Councillor Turner to bring the report from those people. I don't see any problem in bringing it here, but for us, we shouldn't be involved in the strike at all. I agree with that. That's between the employer and the employees. But in terms of the care, it's a bit hard to figure that the number of people that I see on the street sometime when they drive down East River Road, you know, if all those people aren't there, it's got to make a difference. You know, and it's good that they have a program worked out that says this many people have to be there. But I suspect that a lot of families are going in and providing the care for their loved one, which would happen, you know, in many cases, whether the staff are on strike or not. But I think it's something we have to keep a watchful eye on. It's not something that we need to go investigating, but we have to, you know, keep an eye on it and make sure that all of our citizens, including the ones at Valley View Villa and the ones at the other homes as well, even though they're not under our direct purvey like Valley View is, I think it's something that needs to be watched. And as long as we're sure, and I wouldn't be against somebody coming in here and speaking to the issue, the same as we had the principal of the school come in tonight and speak to an issue. Sometimes that can help us, you know, gauge where things are really at. So my hope is just that the residents there at Valley View Villa, you know, are able to get their needs looked after, and but it's hard for us to gauge the truth from here. You know, we have to trust in the people that are on that board. We have to trust in the employees, but we also have to, you know, when a councillor brings something forward, we need to listen to it and hear it out, and then keep our ears open, see if we hear any more. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Warden. Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's a little upsetting to turn around and hear somebody say, oh, rant and rave and that. Well, nobody's talking about rant and rave. Yeah, it's on them places and everything, but usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And another thing is that, is this council going to learn? We just got hit $109,900 for something that we didn't even have a say in. And if we could start getting complaints going into the minister that Valley View Villa, and that's the one they're talking about right now. I mean, maybe they're all, but they're the ones they're talking about. So when they turn around and say, okay, but we're going to investigate, and then we get a bill for $500,000 or something because they had to go in and check and see what's going on. I'm saying, check on it. That's all we're asking. We send a letter, we ask them to check on it, we turn around and we should be having that lady in and get her to turn around and tell us what they're not doing and what they are doing and what are these concerns that other people have and you know, let people know. And we want to have a meeting and people could come and tell us if there's something wrong. But I mean, we're walking on the eggshells right here because I mean, if somebody gets, like I was talking to nurses and everything else, that they told me, man, there's so much that can happen when you don't wash somebody, and that especially at that age and everything. So you know, we can play politics all we want, but I'm telling you right now that this is our home. You know, Valley View Villa, and we're supposed to be responsible for it. And if we're just going to put a blind eye to it or talk a little bit about it and then say, oh, it'll go away, it ain't going to go away, I'll tell you right now. And anybody calls me from now on, I'm going to say, go see your MLA and talk to the minister or something, because I took it to council. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Boyles. Deputy Warden Murray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is there any safety concerns about the students crossing the picket lines? Was that talked about at the board level?
They were hired
Before.
Just one second.
Okay.
Turn this mic.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah. So they were hired previously to the strike. Yeah, I just want to make sure everything's captured. Okay. All right. Is there any more comments or questions regarding the update on the care of Valley View Villa? All right, seeing none, we'll move along to any deferred business this evening. Okay, seeing none, any motions of reconsideration? All right, I will adjourn the meeting. All right, now we're going to go into our executive meeting.